Define legend. What is it to be immortal? I know it's directly tied into the works you do while you're here on Earth. Makes you legendary. As we stand in front of a deceased legend who still lives today, we're about to sit down and talk to a living legend who's still putting work in. Luke Skywalker, Uncle Luke, Caneville, FOOTBALLVILLE.
Welcome to South Florida. Yeah. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to South Florida. The bottom of the clip of the gunshine state. What them boys still boating in that way. Big plate. Get it for the 18 if you straight. Get cake. And stop hating, it's the model of the state. A lot of face, but it's still real around here. That foreign talk, that can get you killed down here. Niggas better learn the lingo, cause they'll be looking for you in that water finding Nemo. See, Palm Beach County be the craziest. Them Broward County niggas be the craziest. And them Dade County niggas be the wildest. Shout out to Bell Glaze and my niggas in Fort Myers.
Back here, crib talk. We call this one crib talk, man, cause this one go way back, way back. Sitting here with Luther Campbell, Uncle Luke, Coach Luke, world famous. You sent me an interview one night, late one night. You sent me an interview with. You were sitting down with the singer from the OJs, right? And he was interviewing you.
Yeah. Eddie Levert.
Yeah, Eddie Levert, right. And I watched the whole interview in the middle of the night, man. Me and my lady, and the respect he had for you was. We were looking at Eddie Levert now from the OJs, like, and the respect that he had from you and the memories that he was talking about, man. Can't do nothing but respect that. Right. Sometimes when you're so close to something, like when somebody's from where you're from, you get too comfortable with it. Yeah. And watching him from afar, do the way he treated you, man, was like that was refreshing to see, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Giving you flowers while you're here. Listen, Edison football. We all know Ray Ray. Talk to us about Edison football and what else you got over there. Y'all got a spring game should be coming up soon, right?
Yeah. I mean, our football program is old school. It's built on old school values. Mm-hmm. You know, our program is all about doing it the right way. You know, not with a bunch of transfers, but more so the way I came up when I played at Miami BC. I played JV, and I ended up playing varsity. No different than majority of everybody that's my age. And so we kind of do it similar to that. I mean, you know, when I started thinking about the program, when I went over there, I was like, okay, it's gonna be difficult to build in an area where Northwestern is dominant and Central is dominant, and most of those kids are being pulled from. And at the same time, Booker T was dominant when I first got there. And so I say, I'm going to build this program in a totally different way. So I looked at it and said, just go back to the old school way of doing it. Build through the young kids. While every kid that's going to Northwestern and Central, you know, the possibilities of a kid coming from the park and actually playing on a varsity team, they would 9 times out of 10 have to sit 2 years. Right. And so I said, okay, let's build a program where those top of the line kids can actually play right now. You know, that's why when you see Booby and you see Flex little brother, those kids play in 9th grade year. Right. You know, you see Malik playing his 9th grade year. The offensive lineman, you see the twins who got every offer in the Dillison twins who got every offer in America. They play in 9th grade year. They've been starting since 9th grade. And so at Miami Edison, we provide an opportunity where you can play right now when other programs, you know, they depend on 23 and 24 transfers, you know, and at the end of the day, we always know that it's only 11 can play. 11 kids can play. So if you get 23 transfers and you got 70 kids on your JV and another 70 on your varsity, somebody's getting left out
Right.
because only 11 could play. So, you know, that's why we're fortunate enough to be able to build a program, you know, where we have those top kids,
Right.
you know, that are coming from the park that we know that you shoot every day, that you know he can play right now. And so, you know, when moms, you know, take it upon themselves and say, look, I'm looking at the future of my kid, you know, I'll take my kid to Miami Edison versus taking them somewhere else. And then you have a lot of parents, you know, who are alumni of some of these schools, and they want them to wear the green and white helmet and the blue and gold helmet, and they take them there, and a lot of those kids sit down. But 99.1% of the time, a lot of those same parents call me up to try to help me get their kids in school, and I'm like, I have to really help my kids get in school. You know what I'm saying? We gave you the opportunity to do that at that time. And so our kids are able to accumulate film, you know, early on. They get in the fire right now.
That. What's the benefit of playing early?
Yeah, getting in the fire right now.
Right.
You know, getting in, you know, going out there and playing against the Northwesterns, playing against the Centrals, and know that you do belong, you know, and understanding that, okay, I got to work a little harder in the weight room because Coach is telling me this. I got to get my body right, you know, and also for top of the line college recruits, you know, like when you look at it, you say Ray played Dave Christian in the 8th grade, you know, varsity football.
Wow.
You know, so he's been playing a long time. You know what I'm saying? So now when he comes to Edison in his 10th grade, you know, after playing 8th and 9th grade, at not Dave Christian, but Miami Christian, you know, he was in the fire, and so now you add that on to him, so you see that, you know, you look at little Sterling Joseph, his first cousin, and you see him go in the game, you know, the other night and rush for 200 yards, you know, easy. You know,
Sterling Joseph, that's his name.
Exactly, that's Little Flex.
He's in Ken the Flex Joseph.
Exactly, that's Flex brother. Flex. So when you see that, you see those things, you know what I'm saying? Those kids can play right now.
Right.
You know, and they are, you know, it's like a curve. Like when we see kids go from college and Kim Dorsey getting his first start at University of Miami, you see the learning curve. You see them picking up the speed of the game because they got it right here. Right. You know, if they're big enough, their body type, you know, can take it on, you know, they'll prevail. They'll prevail.
So the Denison twins, tell us a little bit about them.
These are two kids, again, that played at my park, Liberty City Optimist.
Yeah.
You know, their auntie and uncle, you know, my executive directors at the park. Right. So they grew up at Liberty City, no different than Duke and all the rest of those kids. And they transitioned right on over to Miami Edison. You know, again, those kids played in 9th grade, went on a college tour, did what they had to do. They're big, fast, very physical. They were physical at the park. I mean, they were known for, you know, the one who played defense, he was known for breaking helmets. You know, they always talk about, oh, the twin who break the helmets. And so the transition for them was basically easy for them. Get your butt in the fire right now. Right. Start playing, you know, with some good coaching, and then learn how to work. You know, they're still kids, you know, they still got a lot of giggly in them, you know, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're phenoms. Yeah. They can play right now. Right. You know, Booby, you saw Booby play for the Ravens. Yeah. Booby was one of the biggest one of the top receivers coming out the park. Right. Booby get 4 touchdowns in his 9th grade year. You know, when every other high school was running around. I covered Booby for a while. Exactly. When everybody was trying to get Booby. Right. You know, Booby parents, you know, hey, look, I know I can, you can come play right now. Right. You know, and so last year, Booby's small, right? Yeah, Booby's small. Booby's small. He played, but Booby got the heart of a lion. Right. You know what I'm saying? We all look at Tutu Atwell, small, but the heart of a lion. Right. You know what I'm saying? So Booby gets out there, get in the fire, gets one-on-one coverage right now, scores 4 touchdowns. Last night, Booby probably had, in the spring game, he probably had probably 30 yards, maybe three receptions. Yeah, body is getting bigger. You can see him filling out. Yeah. But he has the opportunity to play right now. Right. Opportunity, that's a huge word. That's a huge word.
Right. It's I tell parents all the time, you have to understand, what are you trying to achieve? You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
What are you trying to achieve? Are you want to be on the winning team? Do your kid need opportunity? I know at the end of the day, when he becomes a senior and y'all about to graduate, the only thing that matters is he going to school.
Yeah.
So giving them an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Giving them an opportunity as fast as you can has to benefit you
Correct.
in the long run. Ray is committed to Clemson. It's been said that University of Miami, the last regime, looked at him and didn't want big. It wasn't anything against him. They wanted bigger receivers. So he went and committed to Clemson. Talk to us about Ray. Tell us something about Ray we don't know.
Ray is what most people don't know. They see his athletic ability on the football field. They see how his change of direction and stop and start. You know, him running straight through angles. They see all that.
Right.
But what they don't know is this kid's a 4.1 GPA. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
An honor student at Miami Edison, you know, which is a B school. They don't see those things. They don't see that he's a leader. They don't know that.
Right.
He has never missed one practice. Never missed one practice.
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. One practice because it was 7 on 17 and the plane was late.
Yeah.
But then he ended up coming to practice late. Always on time, worked the hardest in the weight room, you know, who's very focused on what he's trying to accomplish. You know, you sit down and have a conversation with him and you talk to him about, you know, what he wants to major in school and what is his ultimate goals, he'll tell you. Build financial wealth for his kids and beyond.
Really?
You know, that's how he talks. You know,
gotta get him in here.
You gotta have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, this kid is so well put together, and I mean, you can only credit that to his parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I talk about business. My coaching style is more about, you know, my speeches are about business and how do you take football and translate it into business,
right.
Accountability, responsibility, and those things. And he takes that stuff in, and we have little conversations about business.
Right.
You know, we don't mix, okay, you know, what I do entertainment-wise, but we'll take business and talk that all the time and say, look, man, you don't understand where you at. No different than the same conversation that I would have with Devontae Freeman or Amari Cooper, any of those kids. Look, use this as a platform. You know, this is a platform, and the window is open, and it's gonna eventually close.
Right.
You know, old man told me that, like, when it closes, it's gonna close, and it ain't gonna never open again. It will be a little peak. So use these opportunities to benefit yourself.
Right.
You know, and better yourself, but put yourself in a sound position that can withstand for the rest of your life.
Explain to people that, well, you ain't got to explain, you ain't owe nobody nothing, but we're going to talk about this. Ray's committed to Clemson, right? When Clemson comes down, when Temple comes down, Georgia comes down, as a coach, you got to wear a different hat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At heart, you're a fan of what? You're a fan?
I'm a fan of the University of Miami. And everybody knows that. It's no secret about it. It's well documented on every video docu-series. It's well documented.
Right.
You know, I mean, on albums on the cover of my albums.
Right.
So everybody know that. But they do understand that I'm a high school football coach.
Right. As a coach, you have to put on a different hat, and I think a lot of times the fans' emotions don't, because they never have to put on a different hat.
No.
You have to put on a different hat for the kids.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When Dabo walks in there, he knows you're a fan of Miami. How does he say? What does he say?
Oh, you know, all of them. I mean, was it Dabo, Jimbo, and Nick? They go to talking. We talk Miami trash just like anybody else. You know, yeah, we're gonna beat y'all this year. Yeah, I know you Miami and all that there and everything. Your boys down there are doing this and doing that, but they understand. I mean, because I've been doing it over 15 years, you know, working with kids and getting kids in college. Yeah. They understand. They know that I understand the business, and it's really about what's best for that young man.
Right.
You know, and they know I don't sway kids or push kids in any direction like the average fan would want. You know, and I look at other kids and other programs, go to Miami. You know what I'm saying? But again, at the end of the day, that's the parents and that kid. You know, that's their choice.
Right.
You know, and it's not mine because I don't have to go to school for 4 years there or any place. You know, I'm not going to do that. When they move on, I'll be coaching another young man, getting him ready to go. You know, I'll stay in contact with them on a regular basis, but at the end of the day, they have to make that decision. That's not my decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I realized when I became the media, I could see things clearly because I was covering multiple schools. And the fandom in me, I could separate the two. And I realized, like, when the kids come talk to me, it was never just, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? It's what's best for them in that situation.
Because everything ain't, you know, everything in every situation ain't great. You know, I tell my kids, I say, look, if you may commit to Alabama and Nick Saban, but he's not going to coach you. The guy in that room is going to coach you. So you need to do the research on the position coach because you're going to spend 70% of your time with that position coach in that room. And if he has not developed a guy to, you know, to play on a higher level in the NFL and all these things, then he's not going to get you ready. It's no different than a doctor. Right. That doctor never did any surgery, and you go in there and expect him to do great surgery on you to get you right, then you may want to go to somebody with some experience. You know, and so I tell my kids all the time, look, you know, do the research on the coach, not the head coach, not the program.
The position coach.
The position coach.
Right.
Because you're going to be in that room all those hours spending with him. He's going to be responsible for you, whether you eat, whether you drink, whether you go to the bathroom, whatever it is. He is the guy that is going to get you ready to get to the next level. Not the institution, not the logo, not the head coach.
Him.
What
if he's not recruiting you? What do you tell the kid then?
If he's not recruiting you, then
what if another position coach is
if it's another position coach recruiting you, then that's a problem.
Okay.
That is an absolute problem.
Gotcha.
If the receiver coach of that team and the offense coordinator is not recruiting you as a receiver, that is a problem.
Right.
If the DB coach is recruiting you 9 times out of 10, that position coach don't want you. It's more the head coach that wants you and going to force you to be coached by that guy, and that could create a toxic situation.
Right. You guys, Two Live Crew, put on University of Miami stuff. If you were to type in Two Live Crew, that picture comes up with y'all with University of Miami stuff on. Was that intentional, or was that just you repping the city, or what was
that was intentional. I mean, I always been a University of Miami fan. Since my older brother would take me to the games, you know, with my little, you know, you get in, you got your Optimus jersey on, you get in free, which was probably me and him and 2,000 other people watching you and get their head bashed in.
They was getting their head bashed in?
Oh, it was brutal.
What year was this, man?
I mean, shit. I graduated in 78, so you go back to the 70s of me going out there, you know, playing Pop Warner football, and it was bad.
Yeah.
I think George Myra was a coach, Lou Saban was a coach. After George Myra, Lou Saban, he came from the Buffalo Bills, would get, you know, they got him there to change the program. I mean, we had E.J. Baker, Kerry Baker, quarterback. Chuck Fulmer, we would get beat bad. It was bad. It was like 48, 58, nothing. It was horrible.
When did it change?
When did it change? It changed when Howard Stellenberg came there.
This was what year? 80.
Maybe. It changed when Howard Stellenberg got there, and University of Miami got beat by Florida A&M at Doak Campbell Stadium. That is when the whole fabric of the
program. You were there when
that? I was right there.
I had this old dude call me on the phone call. People call me all the time, man, and tell me they like watching FOOTBALLVILLE. And he was like, yeah, man, when FAMU used to beat Miami. And I was like, man, I don't remember that. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. FAM beat Miami. And at that point, that's when Howard Sullenberger realized that, and everybody in the state, and I think that changed the entire way people recruited out of South Florida, because all those talented guys, they looked at it like, wow. Florida looked at it, Florida State looked at it, and Miami looked at it and say, this guy, and I think probably Rudy Hubbard, has all the top players, whether it's Jacksonville, Miami,
at FAMU.
At FAMU. And FAMU was winning national championships. And so they looked at it and said, our kids are scared of them kids. You know, in Howard Stellenberg, I remember clearly, you know, because back then we had like Swamp City, and you had Liberty City semi-pro teams. Yeah. You had all these semi-pro teams, and Howard Stellenberger came back after that game and took semi-pro teams and say, oh, y'all scared of black people? I'm gonna take these semi-pro teams and go down here and we're gonna scrimmage. And he brought the semi-pro teams down to the Green Tree and they fucking scrimmage. And they bashed their head in. They say, y'all ain't ever gonna be scared of no more black people. But at the same time, we're gonna start recruiting these kids from Dade County. This ain't gonna happen, fam. You ain't gonna be able to get all these kids.
So hold on, take me back. Fam had all the best kids because we were coming out of a time where we went to black schools, right? That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, no, the white schools wasn't recruiting them.
They weren't recruiting.
They wasn't having no black kids coming to Coral Gables, not in no large numbers.
But they wasn't winning football.
University of Florida had Nat Moore and maybe a couple other blacks.
Yeah.
You know, Florida State, you know, nothing. So FAM and Cookman would get the top players. That is why they ran. I mean, at one point, FAM was going Division I. They were beating so many people so bad.
This was in the early 80s, late 70s?
It was in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you look it up. FAM was the school. I mean, to a degree it still is right now, but it's a difference. But FAM would get all of the top players.
Well, where's these stories at in the history books? Like, cause you don't.
They don't want to tell those stories. They don't want. That's why they got you. That's why they got you.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sitting here listening to you say that, and it's like this actually happened, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
You don't hear it. Yeah.
Right. So Snellenberger saw that and was like, hey. But that same story is for baseball, and it all kind of went down the same way.
Yeah, it's the same story for Bear Bryant.
Right.
When Bear Bryant, you know, when he brought black athletes to play for Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, he saw how fast they were, he saw how athletic, and he just, in Alabama.
Right.
Fuck this, I'm gonna get me some black players. Right. You know, and so Snellenberger saw it the same way. They were getting a few black players, you know, but not by the boatloads. You know, in Coral Gables. And after that game, that changed University of Miami forever.
And he started recruiting the local kids.
Yep. And it changed for FAMU too, because they weren't as dominant as they were at that time, because they would get the pick of the litter. Right. They would get the top of the top. Just imagine all these top kids you cover in Miami, Florida, going to FAMU.
Where the video of these games at, man?
Oh, you gotta go, hey. Shit, you gotta go see it. Let me tell you, Billy Rowe played on the team that beat Miami.
Really?
Yep.
He's back at FAM now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I gotta get Billy Rowe to sit down. So Snellenberg was the first. Well, he starts changing it. Yeah. Then he started recruiting local kids, and then they became. You know what I'm saying? He eventually won a national championship. Yeah. At what point did the Two Live Crew and UM?
So, I mean, again, going back to that original question, you know, I'm in this group, you know, look, I'm a Miami fan, diehard, Miami fan, you know, put my jacket on. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put on a Miami jacket, let people know exactly where we're from. We're going to put on the Hurricane. At that time, Hurricanes weren't that relevant. Right. You know what I'm saying? It was on the uprise. So we put it on.
Stop right there. So they wasn't relevant yet?
No.
Y'all putting on hurricane stuff had to have something to do with them becoming market relevant nationwide, no different than NWA and Compton.
Correct.
Because we didn't know what for Compton was until they said Strata Compton. Now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they wasn't relevant yet. You guys put it on, and it kind of grew at the same time.
It grew at the same time. It became an attitude, because our attitude, it was us against the world. You know, we're going to jail. Cops trying to put us in jail. We're rebels, straight rebels. Right. So it coincided. So the team and the players that came there were fans of the music.
Right.
They were fans of this rebelistic mentality. And so that's why you would get guys like Ed Reed and all them guys coming from New Orleans. Big market for us. You know, big market in California for us. Big market in Texas. You would get those because they wanted to be a part of that. Right. You know, so going to Miami, and then Miami, you know, I would say coaches allowed them to take on that rebelistic mentality on the football field. Right. And so it coincided until it just got really, really big, really bad, and we started kicking so many people's ass, and so people started doing the research. Right. Like the Dan Lebitars of the world, who was going to University of Miami, you know, as a reporter. You know, he built his career off of 2 Live Crew and University of Miami football because he followed me. He followed me every day that I went to practice, every day I went on the field, and it was all, why is he on the field? Why is he here? What's the relationship with him and these players? And then that's when he came up and said, oh, it was pay for play, but he would never write the real article. Right. There were real articles that was written of, okay, why I'm all there trying to get these kids to go on the straight and narrow, because I'm sitting there looking at them going to campus. And as a UM fan and know the history of Coral Gables, that they didn't really want blacks in Coral Gables. That's why the school really never, probably one of the latest ones to bring black kids on the campus. You know, it was more of me, this Miami historian. Yeah, I'm at the top of the hip hop world from Miami, doing great things. These kids love me. Let me get off my ass and go down there and start having conversations with them about the opportunities that they have as in getting an education and going to the next level. So he didn't understand that.
He was a young kid at the school. He was
a young kid going to the school, working for the Miami Herald. So he would write these articles. Nobody knew why. So he would, in my opinion, fabricate the articles. Like Charles Farms and Bernard Clark say Luther Campbell paid them. I didn't even know Charles Farms and Bernard Clark. They weren't ones that would hang out with me. It was the crazy ones that was hanging out with me.
Make me understand this though. What was he trying to accomplish? Was he
build his career that it is now? Me and him real good friends. Yeah.
No, I like Dan Levitar's show,
me and Dan good friends to this day right now.
But he was from Miami, and he just was being a reporter.
He was being a reporter.
Yeah, emotionalist, just.
Yeah. I always ask him. I said, one of these football players fuck your girlfriend. Are you jealous that they had a bunch of girlfriends? Because you go after the football team, the school that you went to. I just don't understand this. I never get an answer from him.
No.
Yeah, I never got an answer. But I mean, he went at the school hard, and he built a career off of it. You know, and so again, you know, you know, when you look at it, and we always talk about it. I mean, going from that to the whole controversy of him asking me the questions about Ryan Collins and twisting up the words to make it seem like I'm going to give the University of Miami.
That was him that did that?
He did that.
Oh, I didn't know that was Levitar that did that. All right, man, listen, IOD Squad Investor Die. We'll be right back, man. Make sure y'all like, share, become a member, do something with your time.
My name's Chase Smith. I'm from Palm Bay, Florida, and this is Edge, the best tasting energy drink on the planet.
No, what it was when you started writing those articles, when Dan started writing those articles, saying, oh, the rappers around paying the players. You know, when he started writing them, obviously public opinion believed that's what the case was. Because again, I'm the first entertainer on the sideline. everything that you see right now wasn't happening. You know, I'm on the sideline because I'm friends with these guys and mentoring these guys at the same time. And so nobody really understood it. And none of those guys really, you know, sat down and asked those kids, because them kids, you know, they didn't want to talk to no reporters like that. You know, once they started talking about dirt. And then once he started writing the articles, then the Jack Thompson, who I think he went to University of Miami, who lived down there, he then jumps on it and says, oh, they're wearing the logo on their album covers. That should be copyright infringement. University of Miami should be suing. So he's calling the University of Miami, jumping on them, talking about suing us for wearing the jackets and all that. University of Miami's like, forget about this dude. He's a crackpot, you know, in their opinion. And at the end of the day, what happened? So all this was going on at the same time of everybody trying to figure out. You know, they see this university and they going out there dancing and partying, you know, dancing like they dancing in a music video and taunting and talking shit. And at the same time, you got this Miami hip hop group that's taunting and talking shit and fuck the police and fuck everybody and hey, we want some this and that. And so people, you know, it was going hand in hand. Right. It was going. I mean, and it was crazy.
So it just happened to work together hand in hand, like
it worked together hand. I mean, because again, I mean, the attitude of Miami, you know, is we do feel like we're us against the world. Yeah. I mean, when you look at Miami versus the Jets, go to Dolphin game versus the Jets, you see fights. Right. You know, and nobody respected University of Miami football. Right. You know, Brent Mossberger would talk bad about us. You know, it was about everybody but Miami. So it was like, the hell with y'all. And then same thing for the hip hop world. Right. We would go do concerts with Eric B. Rakim and Public Enemy and you name it, and we would get completely shitted on. Mm-hmm. You know, to the point where we would have to fight at concerts and venues because it was all about, oh, hip hop. Ain't no such thing as hip hop in Miami. Right. Who the fuck are y'all? You know what I'm saying? Right. So it was a constant fight that we were having. Who are y'all as football? Who are y'all as hip hop artists? And it became, okay, fuck it. That's why when you look at the album cover, I got draws on my head, leaning out the truck. The other guy got his pants down. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were all about. Right. And that, you know, and again, that's where that whole swag came from. You know, it was an attitude. It was a complete attitude.
That's where it came. Because teams can win national championships, and teams like Miami won their first national championship around the same time, 82, 83. We see teams win college football, but it doesn't grow their brand. Like, it doesn't give their brand a character. You know what I'm saying? Miami had character, and it sounds like it could have came from y'all.
Well, it was a combination of the two. Yeah. Because you need the characters on the football team, right? And the characters in the.
But the brand had character.
Yeah, the brand had character.
Across the country want to buy it that didn't even live here because of. I think it was working in hand. I think it was going.
Yeah, working hand in hand. I mean, and the players would embrace the culture. They would embrace everything. Like majority of all those players that came, whether it was Jerome Brown, whether it was Cortez Kennedy, whether it was Mark Caesar, you name it. When they came in, I talked to them. Yeah. I had a conversation with them. And while they were here, I was having conversations with them. Right. You know, and so understanding the culture of Miami, guys from New Jersey, guys from Texas, guys from Ocala, guys from Orlando, the Warren Saps of the world, and all that. So I'm having these conversations with them, explaining them the culture of Miami and what Miami represents with blue collar, hard working, we don't give a shit, we don't take shit from nobody attitude. And so they understood that. You know, and they understood, you know, hey, look, tell us, you know, like we having a conversation, tell us about hip hop. They don't like us. They don't like nothing about us. And until this day right now, people don't like Miami from outside of Miami. That's why LeBron James come to Miami. Right. Fuck him, why he go to Miami? Right. He goes to LA, oh, it's okay. You know, it's not a problem. You know, anything Miami, Tariq Hill goes to Miami, oh, fuck him, he ain't gonna be shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, so everybody wanna be us, and everybody would hate on us.
Right.
But we who we are. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I would explain this to every one of them young men. And so they would go out there, whether it was Dan Stubbs, whether it was Rusty Medeiros, whether it was KP, they would go out there and play with that type of attitude. Like, it's really us against the world. You know, nobody's going to give us the same respect that they give Notre Dame and Nebraska and Oklahoma and LSU and Alabama and all those people in the world. And so they went out there with that attitude to fuck somebody up.
We don't let up on this though. So listen, we know whatever rappers will, right? The kids want to be like the rappers, and they usually put on whatever the rappers put on. Yeah. Did Miami sell more jackets, more?
Miami was at that period of time, Miami was the second leading merchandise selling sports apparel in the country. Only person was ahead of them was Dallas Cowboys. They actually surpassed the Raiders. Yeah. You know, again, you got NWA with the Raiders on, but the Raiders already had a brand. Right. You know, they just put it on, you know, to coincide with what the Raiders was doing probably because they saw us with Miami gear on. But at the end of the day, you know, they went past all that because you got young people wanting to put this shit on because of look they're fans of us. Right. You know, it wasn't at that time it wasn't a Loot record jacket. It was a damn Miami jacket. Right. I want that jacket. I want to be a part of that team. And then they eventually became fans of the University of Miami because our fans, you know, became their fans. Right. And so now those kids who are fans, they want to go play for the University of Miami. Right. The fucking 2 Live Crew team. Because there's no other way to explain that. If you're saying they sold more jackets and more t-shirts than them, the Raiders, and how else could you explain it? Yeah. Is that they had a marketing, basically, conduit, which was y'all, out there touring the nation. Yep. With our jacket. Represent Miami. Yeah, you come out in that motherfucker we're in the middle of Oakland. Right. In the Coliseum. 19,000 people screaming and hollering. That was our uniform. That was our City of Miami uniform that we went to work with every day. Has Miami ever said to you, thank you, or did anybody ever reach out and say, hey, listen, No, at that time, they was like, no, fuck you. You can't come to the campus. You can't do this. NCAA investigators come to your house. Now, Miami never, you know, only time it was okay was when Randy Shannon became the coach. Randy, when he got the job, was like, look, Luke's gonna be a part of the program because I know what he meant to me as a player. Right. You know, and I knew what he was about as a mentor to all of my former players. Right. And so he was pretty much one of the only ones that embraced me up until now, Cristobal. But everybody else was like, I was the plague. If I came around the program, it was, you know, it's like all the feds would come out and be like, oh, is he gonna touch anything? Is he gonna do anything? He gonna touch anything? Yeah. At what point did you realize you should have had a goddamn Luke record jacket on and not a Miami jacket on? Well, eventually I put the fucking Luke record jacket on. And still selling thousands of those shits. Yeah, because your brand was Luke Record, the foot coming out the sky. Right, you know what I'm saying? But you was representing Miami and they didn't even really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wanted people to know where we were from. Gotcha. Even though those members of the group was not from Miami, not one of them but me, but it was like, look, I want motherfuckers to know we from Miami. Right. We're not from New York. We're not from California. A couple of them, one was from New York, one was from California. One guy was from Alabama, but I wanted people to know we're Miami. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wanted people to know. You had to force them to put the Miami stuff? No. They didn't want to rep where they were from? You either going to put it on or you fucking go back where you came from. No, this is the Miami shit we doing. Right. You know what I'm saying? We wanted the world to know that this is what we represent and this is where we're from. Where did Randy Shannon, why did that go wrong? Because we all wanted it to happen. Like, we all want him to be hired. We feel he deserved it. Why didn't that work? I think Randy cared. Randy, you got to understand, Randy came in right after the Pata situation. Probably one of the worst things happened at University of Miami. And they had the rate of graduation was very low. You had all kind of shit. He took over, same thing Obama took over.
Right.
A shit show. And his whole thing was, I got to clean this up for these black young men who are playing football here. And so you got a couple years of cleaning up the program. Now the fans, the average Miami fan don't give a shit about a player after he leaves University of Miami. Right. As long as he's playing and performing on the field, they don't care whether that kid is broke, homeless, or nothing.
Right.
And whether he's going to leave University of Miami without a degree and become a criminal, they don't give a shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They only care about winning. And so Randy, being a guy from a disadvantaged household situation, he had to clean the program up, but he wanted to create great young men that can make it to the next level. And unfortunately, in college football, that don't always work. It don't always work a lot, and that's why you see Tommy Tuberville that'll be a national championship coach at Auburn, but then he'll run for Senate as a Republican and do everything in his power to hurt black people, but he made his claim to fame off black people.
Right.
So you have to, a lot of times you have to be a head coach that don't give a shit about your players in college football. Those are most of the winning coaches, unfortunately.
Explain it.
It's they just want them to play. The most college coaches who win, they only care about what you are going to do on this field. That is the bottom line. They think like the fans that sit in the stadium, that most of them don't look like us.
Right.
They don't care about their well-being after college football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just want to get them from the practice field to the damn game field and to perform so that they can go back and renegotiate their contract.
Right.
And whatever happens to them after the fact, when you look at a lot of these guys, the Amari Cooper and all these kids who leave college football and the institution and the fan base don't give a rat's ass about them, you know, you kind of think like, what the fuck? You know, if he's playing, we're going to get him all the help that he can get to get his ass to transition on that field.
Right.
We're going to cover up every criminal activity that the kid do. We're going to cover up every drug test it is to get him on the field. And the difference between that and Randy genuinely cares about black men. That is why it will be difficult for him to be a head coach. And most African-American head coaches, they look at these black boys in a totally different light.
Yeah.
They're not going to, they ain't going to play you. If you fucked up and the police came and said you beat your girlfriend, they ain't going to play you. Now, a white coach will. We got to have this motherfucker. Because the boosters is betting their money and we got to cover the spread. Get your ass on the field, we'll put you on the board and punish you, but okay, you failed the drug test. Wait, don't fail 3. He got a concussion. Fuck that. Don't write that shit down, doc. Get your ass out there. Randy ain't gonna do that. So Randy ain't built, and he's not built to be a head coach in that.
And I think it's because the same way I kind of do media, it's because we know where we come from.
Because we know you know his story and you know where he come from. So he's not going to pimp these black kids the way that the white coach will pimp them. The white coach don't give a shit about them after the fact. Now you have some coaches, I'm not going to say all, but you have some coaches that genuinely care about their kids.
You've seen some coaches that genuinely care?
But the easiest way to look at it is look at their roster. Look at their coaching staff.
Right.
How many kids that previously played for you that are not coaching for you, that are not GM for you?
Right.
That is when you could tell a coach cares about their kids, that cares about the well-being of their players. Like you heard me talking just now, Coach Klink, the defensive back coach, assistant defense coordinator of Michigan. He was just telling us right now, one of his kids caught a stroke while he was at Kentucky.
Right.
He was the DB coach at Kentucky. He recruited the kid from South Florida, and he couldn't make our game because he wanted to be over there with the family.
He did just say that, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so these are, most African American coaches. That's why a lot of institutions they're not really built for that because they care different about the African American kid.
Right.
They care a lot different about them.
It's they're like products, right?
Yeah.
And I guess the confusing part is they don't say that.
No, they're not going to say that.
Right. If they were to say it, then I think people would understand because a lot of black kids and stuff need family. You know what I'm saying? A family atmosphere.
Yeah. But
and that's how they recruit it.
I'm telling you, look at how many former players are coaching at these institutions.
So
because hey, you didn't make it in the league. Come on, man. Let me get you in this coaching game. You want to do this right here? You can't have a whole fucking staff.
Right.
And none of your former players coaching for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I told Willie Taggart this. When he went to when he left South Florida and went to
FAMU?
Oregon.
Oregon.
I say if Winky Quentin Flowers don't make it in the league, you should give him a job. And he said to me, I promise you I'll give him a job. Right? If he don't make it. I said, because you understand, you recruited him from Miami and I helped you get him because the kid was Nebraska.
Right.
Came out of my youth program. And he went and he made your career. He got you the job at Oregon and Florida State. You owe that young man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He never fulfilled that promise.
No? After giving you his word?
No, never fulfilled that promise. And so even black coaches do it too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if there was a kid that helped you, and not, a lot of times as a quarterback or some prolific guy, and he did great to help you, you need to be able to say, hey, look, what you doing, son?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look back. So there's a few staff that you see that, but you don't see that many.
Do coaches look at it that way? When you look at Ray Ray, do you say Ray Ray made me or you made Ray Ray? Coaches sometimes look at it like, I made Quentin Flowers.
Right.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? So give me a fair from a
No,
coach's
I don't think we don't. For me,
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody. I'm on the sideline looking at him go off in the spring game, and the coach like that, and one of the scouts is on the sideline like, damn, you created a beast. I say, no, I did not.
Right.
I say, his mom and his daddy that's sitting up in the stands, they created that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was passed down to him. Only thing I can do, and the coaches on my staff can do, is help him perfect what he's doing. But that mama and that daddy created that beast.
Right.
No different than my son. And you see, if you coach long enough, you see the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. Mm-hmm. We see a lot of great kids playing football, but then we look at the parents. If the parents are assholes and doing dumb shit in the streets, 9 times out of 10, no matter how great they can be, at the high school, they get to college and you say, why the hell is he back home? But then look at the parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The fruit don't fall too far from the tree, and we see that a lot of times. We try to break the mold. That's why I can't take credit for what this young man do.
Right.
I can't take credit for Cooper. I can't take credit for Carlton Davis. I can't take credit for Artie Burns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I coached with them. I believed in them and helped them. The Devontae Freedman's. Maybe a little more. I could take a little more credit for him because he had no father figure and a young mother, and he stayed mostly with me.
Devontae stayed mostly with you?
Yeah.
From what age?
Shit. Fucking 8 years old, 10 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was their house.
Yeah.
The other house. Yeah, So again, those kids, when you go back and look at them, Amari had a very strict mother, single parent mother, strict as hell, tough lady, demand the best and the excellence out of him.
Right.
I mean, he had a brother most people don't talk about. His brother was the fastest in the world.
Amari Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who his brother is?
No.
See, now I'm gonna mess you up. I'll get Streeter. I got Streeter. Oh, I gotta give me a drink of water on this one.
First time I heard this.
I got Streeter. Oh.
His brother was the fastest in the world.
I got the great one right here. Can you believe this shit?
No,
You don't know who
shit,
Amari
man.
Cooper's brother is?
No. Maybe when you say it.
Most people don't know.
They don't?
You remember Smoke?
Yeah.
That's Amari Cooper brother.
He called me about a year ago.
That Smoke.
Yeah, that is fast, motherfucker.
Look at his
That's
last
his brother?
name. Blood brother.
Right,
his
right.
name is Cooper.
Cooper. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me when he called me that day.
Me and Perk was dropping him off. He told me. Yeah. I didn't know it.
Right.
But I remember this little kid, Perk didn't drop him off. I dropped Cooper off on a circle in the city. And the little boy used to come running outside and shit. His little brother, meet the truck and I was like, he was like, Coach, you remember me? You used to drop my brother off. Because when I was coaching at Norland, he wanted to play football, just track.
Right.
Couldn't catch, but he was fast as hell.
Same mom, same dad?
Yep.
But the mom was strict on...
So the mom eventually put him out because he was a little rough around the edges.
Right. How do you explain that? Two kids raised in the same house, and it happens all the
But
time.
you got, you...
Kids have their own...
Yeah. It's going to be one... it's going to be one out of control one and one marijuana one. It's always like that.
No,
one brother is crazy and the other one is...
He was Olympic fast. He I guess he just couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
But when his coach got arrested, when that guy, I forget his name. I went to school.
He stayed with that guy.
Yeah, I went to school with the guy. When he got arrested for the stuff, Smoke just called me one day.
Yeah.
I picked up the phone and started talking to him, and he just wanted to talk.
But he don't talk about it. His brother don't talk about it either.
No.
He just told me because when we was on the practice field, he told me, hey, you don't remember me? And then I was like, nah. And then he explained to me the story. I was like, shit. And
Yeah.
Not too many people know that.
He's faster and bigger than Amari Cooper, huh?
Yes, he is.
Now look.
But he never bothered with football.
I remember brought him run the kickoff back one time for Nolan, and he was running so fast. He dropped the ball.
I was coaching for Nolan.
No, he was running so fast, but you could tell he was running scared. He was afraid.
Yeah.
He was flying, and I think he eventually dropped the ball. But he was bigger than Cooper.
Hey, Smoke was the key to us beating Northwestern when they won state, and Tutu was beating everybody.
Was he? I
put Smoke at linebacker.
Really?
I said, Smoke, go to linebacker. You and Nadam, I'm gonna put you all at linebacker. I'm gonna put 2 4-eyes in a zero technique, and I want you to go tell Tutu you out here. I say, go and tell him when you go out there.
So Tutu ain't faster than him.
No. I'm like, Tutu, I got something for you. This is me on the sideline. What, coach? I got Smoke coming out there and the damn coming out of smoke. It's like, yeah, take off running now. You're going to have to throw the ball tonight, Tutu.
And y'all beat them that night?
Yeah, we beat them.
No, I didn't know that story.
Tutu break out, there go Smoke.
Right. That's after you had the other linebackers had left, right? The ones with the Florida State.
No. For that game, I put them at linebacker.
Yeah, but you had 2 other linebackers, right? One with the Florida State years before that in Norland. What are their names?
One for Sean Joseph went to Florida,
right?
And Emmett Rice.
Emmett Rice
went to
Florida State, right?
Florida State.
Right.
Then Carlton went to Auburn.
Yeah. So I got that game on film. That next year, I remember that game.
Yeah.
You got a game on film.
Yeah.
Nah, I gotta go look at that, man. Nah, that's crazy. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But that's the type of stories we have in Miami.
Yeah.
It's such a rich, when it comes to football, culture, and I just wanted to get up in the helicopter one day and show people how close these schools are. And then just start putting thumbtacks on where these kids came from.
Yeah.
And I don't think people would believe how close Gwen Cherry is to Liberty City.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't believe it.
They wouldn't believe it.
No, they think.
And then you got Moore Park, then you got Overtown, you know, and you got Helping Hands, then you got Tokosi.
They wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And everybody got a star or two. Somebody, Gwen Cherry just may have 5 at one time. You know what I'm saying? Or Liberty City might just have the most stars at one time. But no, the culture is so rich, man. I'm gonna figure out a way to tell the story one day. You told me you told the Liberty City story. I'm gonna figure out a way to tell it.
You're gonna need a docu-series. That's why when they go to talk about movies and stuff, like even with me, I can't tell the whole story in 1 hour and 20 minutes.
I don't know how
There's
you
no
do
way
it.
in the world you could do it.
No.
Yeah.
You couldn't. It's hard to tell Liberty City Park story.
Yeah.
In an hour.
No, you need a whole series.
And then the people that called you and said, "Man, how you did that without me being a part of it?" Because it's so much.
Yeah.
I know they did.
Yeah, everybody, man. Every time I do a docu-series,
right?
You know, if I do a docu-series, if I do a documentary,
right?
Or if I do a book, you know, we've done books on our program, docu-series. Everybody always mad.
Right.
Somebody's always mad. Oh, you didn't talk enough about him. Oh, you didn't talk about him. You know, right. Everybody, you know, but you just can't capture all of it in one. And so that's why in our Stars docu-series, we really focus on the kids then. Like the first documentary on the program, we focus on the program, and then we also followed Tutu in the first one, and we followed Tutu was older, but then we followed
the little boy.
He's at Texas A&M playing now. Played for Central.
Amari Daniels, not Amari. You Keith, right?
You Keith.
Mm-hmm.
You Keith at Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you Keith, if you go back and look at that documentary, you Keith, little boy.
Yeah.
Walk around the neighborhood. So we followed him and Tutu.
Right.
In that sense. And you saw it. I mean, you see me like you shooting at the games and all that. I'm telling the guy from New York, look, yo, this motherfucker gonna be the next baddest thing since sliced bread. Right. We could tell it. You know, so when it's an out of town person like you can chronicleize all these stories because you saw it at the park. You know, and you know, and those things like that. So then when we did Warriors, we similarly did it, similar to that, but we wanted to show how many dads are really involved. Because you don't see shows where dads are involved. It's always, single parent mama, she up there struggling, and it's the coach, and they need the white man to come in because we need some blind slide shit to go on, and then now the kids are staying over at the white guy house and all that. Right. No, we wanted to show how many African American men that are involved about it, whether it was granddaddy or dads, or even if the dad was incarcerated. Right. That he's still making phone calls. How you doing in school? How you doing? What's your grade? What's your GPA? You know, how you doing in football and all that. So I wanted to show that in that series.
Well, it's looked that different. Devontae Freeman, you say basically lived with you since he was 8.
Yeah, he was off and on. He was in mama house. Yeah. All of them. I had the whole damn team. They would be in the house, tearing up the fucking place. Right.
And a lot of times from the outside, when it's a black guy, they look at it like he's a handler. He's there for money. Yeah.
But and I, not to cut you off, when it's the whole team, when it's 5, 6 of them, ones who are not going to the NFL, you know, ones who this big and that big and all this. Can't say nothing about that, right? It's different, you know, but it's a little different because I kind of look at some things, you know what I'm saying? If you only got this big 7-foot motherfucker and you just took him out the house and you left the brothers on all that, if you're really doing something for this family, then you need to be bringing them two over there too, and not just the prominent player.
Right.
You know, and then there are situations where it's, one person.
Right.
Like you probably saw the game the other day at Edison. When a couple of those girls on the team are homeless, living in a shelter.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's, that you don't see it. They're out there balling their ass off, and this is their sanctuary to get away. And you like, damn, you be wanting to, like, you can come stay with me. But then now as the football coach, the girls football, it becomes a little difficult. And then you have proud parents that be like, no, we're gonna work through it.
Because they're in the shelter with their family, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
It's a lot of situations like that.
No, well, yeah, it's because rent just went up 30% everywhere.
There's a lot more people going, so it's bad out here. So, but, I mean, to go back to the handler thing, if it's one and you left the brothers and sisters, but if you're genuinely helping that family out,
right,
and because they live in a disadvantaged situation, then you bring the fucking brother too.
Right.
Just don't take the athletic guy out.
The fast one.
Yeah, don't take the fast one.
No. My thing is that these kids that don't have that family or family isn't into football, I don't want them sitting in front of a head coach talking about NIL alone. No, I don't want that. So that was I was kind of like trying to bring that to light. Now, Devontae Freeman, you said all these kids used to be over here, right? Devontae Freeman ends up at Florida State. Could you explain us how that happened? How he ended up at Florida State?
I mean, it was the same way. It's the same way Ray, same way Amari Cooper, same way Carlton Davis, all of them. I mean, we do a camp too. I've been doing it since he was in him and Godfrey and all of them were in the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. Stopped in Miami first. Hey, look, this guy, he gonna work out. Miami basically said, oh no, we don't like him. He's too short, he's not this, he's not that. Get on the bus, go to Florida State, next stop. Oh shit, Jimbo, I love him. Meanwhile, we calling everybody like, yo, he the next best thing. All of them that was in. I mean, you gotta remember, it was in that bus. It was in the van. It was in the van. You had Charles Gaines Jr.
Here we go. Go.
You had John Miller.
Mm-hmm.
You had Devontae Freeman.
Right.
In the same van that I'm going on a college tour. All these kids playing for us at Central.
Right.
But majority of them came from my national team at the park. Mm-hmm. They originally was sent to Edison for bail. I'd say, y'all go over there, bail left, go to University of Miami. Right. So then took them all to Central, Billy Rowe didn't leave. And so now we sitting up there, got to figure out who the hell gonna be the coach. So the principal asked me, like, yo, who's gonna be the coach? And then that's when I basically ended up hiring the fucking coach at Central at the time, which ended up becoming Manny Martin, and it was AJ. Mm-hmm. They were the original coaches because it was so last minute. Right after spring, Billy left, and I got all these kids over there.
Right.
So after that year, Manny ended up. Telly got cleared within the middle of the year for that Northwestern stuff. Perkins got cleared. He went to Georgia to coach. And then they gradually, at the end of the year, was coming in helping AJ with the offense. And then Manny eventually said, hey, look, I'm going to go a different direction with the offense. And they didn't call me up after they got fired.
Yeah.
We just got fired. And I call up Jerry Clay. I say, Jerry Clay, Manny just fired all my guys. I'm taking all my fucking kids out of there. And like that.
Right.
And Jerry Clay was like, you don't gotta do that, man. I gave you my word. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. So Jerry Clay eventually fired Manny. And then he was like, well, who's gonna be the coach? So we interviewed a bunch of coaches. I know I'm segueing off of.
No.
We interviewed a bunch of coaches.
I know where this finna end up at.
In my living room.
Yeah.
And we sitting up there. We interviewed a lot of coaches. I ain't gonna call their name. And so it was like, you know, Jerry Clay, tough guy, you know, tough principal. We did it over there, and then eventually, it was like, AJ, you or Telly gotta be the coach. Right. And AJ was like, I make too much money. You know, I don't want that smoke. And then Telly was like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry Clay, Telly gonna be the coach. Okay, no problem.
That was Telly first time head coaching?
Yeah, first time.
That was the change when Central changed, right? That's when Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Central and Northwestern was always the big brother.
Yeah.
Right.
And so Telly became the head coach. Then, I'm like, okay, y'all got it. You know, because I wanted my kids to be in good hands because, you know, that team was 2-time national champion. So you had all them top kids on it. And, you know, I'm friends with Telly. I always know him. And so, and AJ, you know, me and him been friends forever.
Right.
His dad was one of the guys, one of the first people, the coach at Liberty City.
Yeah.
So we all, you know, because we all from Beach.
Right.
We all played at Beach. Mm-hmm. And so long story short, he ended up becoming a coach.
So, but we ain't gonna let you get away from this. Freeman ends up in Florida State, right?
Yeah.
How did Miami not like Freeman, man? Make that make
They
sense.
didn't, the damn running back coach.
Was it a young Freeman or something?
Yeah. It was like, we didn't like it. They didn't like Freeman, they didn't like John Miller, they didn't like Charles Gaines Jr., they didn't like none of them.
You know why?
They said he was too short, too this, too that, but then now they get fired.
Right.
When they got fired.
Because
then now Freeman plays.
Was that Randy Staff?
Randy was.
Right.
Shit, they didn't like T.Y. Hill neither. I mean, me and T.Y. dad like this. I'm like screaming, you gotta get fucking T.Y.
Right.
I'm calling down there. They didn't like Levante Davis. Oh, you mad because Levante played at Liberty City. I'm like, yeah, you just took 7 dudes from Northwestern, you forgot the 8th one. You know what I'm saying? And he's the best one.
Right.
You know, no disrespect to Sean Spencer, he was a bad boy.
Right.
Bad man, very smart. He was a bad, he was one of the great players.
No, he is.
But, you know, yeah, I was biased. You know, my guy from Liberty City,
right,
Levante Davis. I'm like, we can't take an 8th guy where you finna fuck up. And so I remind Randy and all the rest of them, and Bell and all the rest of them who's over there, hey, my guy's still playing the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you took 8. The one you left is still playing. So, you know.
He wasn't highly recruited though, right? He took like a longer path, right?
Yeah, he went to JUCO.
Right.
You know, back then everybody was fixing up the grades and the tests. So they left him out.
Gotcha. So they left him out. That's how he explained that. They had to resonate in my head.
You gotta get the guy ready and shit. Go get somebody to go take the test. That's what they were doing back then. But Freeman, back to you.
So you explained it. You said they didn't want him out.
They didn't want him. So
even when he started rushing for 300 yards a game?
He killed the whole damn, this what happened. So they did not want him. They never wanted him. He killed the year. Still didn't want him. They get fired that year that he went crazy as a senior. Because you got to remember, it was him and Brandon Gaynor in his 11th grade year.
Yeah.
And Brandon Gaynor ended up going to Kentucky. So Freeman goes off in his senior year, like we already expected. And then Randy didn't get fired. Al Golden came in. It was like, no, I want this kid. I remember as soon as Golden got the job, he would call me down there. I was at the office when it looked like a bomb had blew up in there. Shit was off the wall. And the only thing was left up there was the board. You know, them dudes really trashed that place.
Right.
And so I'm sitting up in there like, he like, nah, I gotta get him. No.
Who trashed the place?
The last staff. That place was bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, they trashed that place. I don't know.
Out of anger or just over time?
I don't know. That shit was bad up in there. It looked like a bomb blew up in that motherfucker. So I'm sitting up in there like, you know, and Golden like, nah, we gotta get him. I'm like, how you mean? They said they had a bunch of running backs. Like, look at this board. We don't have no running backs. We need to get him.
Right.
But by then, Freeman had left to go to college. And so he was an early enrollee. And this is where I learned something, because you learn something all the time. I learned that as an early enrollee, you're not officially enrolled until you go into class. So you sign your letter,
right,
but you're not official until you step into a classroom. I was like, well, he at the dorm. He done brought his clothes. They was like, no, he could still leave. He could still leave up until the time, if he check into class,
right,
then now he's locked in. But
did he want to play for you?
Shit, he wanted, that was his dream.
Man, don't make me cry, good man.
No, that was his dream. So we sitting up in there like, Freeman, I gotta tell you, these people at Florida, these people at Miami want you. Really, coach? But I just came up here. And then, you know, family, like, that's my dream school. Well, I'm just telling you, what should I do, coach? I'm like, oh, no, you ain't finna put that shit on. hey, I said, no.
Right.
You are not getting ready to put that on me. I said, boss. So he was in Tallahassee, and the next day he was supposed to go to class.
Right.
So he was,
oh man.
he stayed on the phone. He was crying. He was doing this. It was like an emotional roller coaster.
Right.
Because now your dream school wants you, but this school who wanted you day one,
right,
when nobody else wanted you.
Right. Now
this school is trying to get you. So
yeah,
it was like, here's the deal. You check in the class at 8 o'clock in the morning. You officially Florida State. And he got to the point where he called me 2 o'clock in the morning. What should I do?
And
you got to tell me. You've always directed me in the right direction. I said, listen, I can't tell you this. You have to pray on this.
You couldn't go wrong either way.
He
was too good. He wasn't either way. It would have been fine.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, boss, you got to pray on this. That's not my decision. This is gonna be the first man decision that you make,
right,
as a man, and you're gonna have to make these decisions for the rest of your life. And so he was like, he called up right before class, coach, I'm gonna go ahead and stay.
I hope y'all paying attention to paying attention to this, because they don't. A lot of times the fans, they don't realize how tough these decisions are for these kids. They think these kids got it figured out.
Yeah.
They think it's a plan. They think everything is planned. They think everything is, and it's not. They're kids, and you never really know how they're feeling or where they really wanted to go. But sometimes where they want to go, don't want them. Mm-hmm. And it happens a lot. All right, listen, man. Part 1, we got part 2 coming. Some more fire, some heat coming for y'all. Me, Uncle Luke.
It's gonna take 3 motherfucking days, and that's what? This nigga wants it.